Welcome to episode 272 of the VIG Lounge, where we're going to be racing in the F1 World Tour, this time at Bahrain, which is race number 4 on the F1 calendar as opposed to being the first race this year. And let's see if the Killer Bee can do another fast lap around Bahrain, start on pole, and win ourselves another race. I've always enjoyed this track. It's kind of one of the easier ones, and it helps you kind of get accustomed to how to drive the car around that one track. So I don't really have too many thoughts about this. Just a tad on that one corner. All right. Woo-hoo! We are starting on pole.
Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry. We'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
And my teammate, legendary driver Jacques Villeneuve, will be starting in P3. And Max Verstappen is sandwiched in between us. So let's see how this will go in terms of the race. Hopefully we can get ourselves a good start off the line.
It started as a day race, now it runs at night. Welcome to the Bahrain International Circuit, and welcome to the Bahrain Grand Prix. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10.
All right, let's check out the grid.
So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. It's the owner driver then in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Villeneuve,
I got quite
Norris,
a run there.
Russell, Leclerc, Hamilton, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Bottas, Albon, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Oscar Piastri, Joe, Ocon, Magnussen, Perez, Stroll, and Logan Sargent. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Let's run.
All right, here we go. Oh, I did not get the start I wanted. Not at all. Obviously not trying to collide with anybody, but okay, now that the staff is not get a warning for that, he literally turned right into me. Unfortunately, I was able to keep the car going, so we've regained the lead, and now we need to little bit of height drama at the beginning, I suppose. Now we'll just put the hammer down. Hopefully pull away.
We can now use DRS. DRS now available.
And I got the fastest lap. And I love that race control tells you that DRS is enabled as well. Now we've kind of gotten into a bit of a nice, smooth driving rhythm. There, you know, I hit the rumble a little bit that time, but that was smoother than lap one. So I'll take that.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
All right. Loving this now. We're flying. Driving nice and smooth now. Loving how smooth this is. Right, we're on the lap 4 now. I'm happy that a race actually is going to be on at a reasonable time, moving in the Eastern time zone. So it's nice to be able to actually take in a race live instead of having to record it or watch the highlights later. Because, you know, being a 37-year-old man, I don't really have the energy to stay up late most nights. Even though I did last night for the UFC, and I will say UFC 314 was a good card. But my only complaint, and it's political stance notwithstanding, and again, I'm Canadian, so I wouldn't have a say one way or another. But how many times they talked about and cut to Donald Trump during the actual show, you know, was very excessive in my opinion. I mean, mean, I understand that obviously he's a UFC fan. He had done some things, you know, to help the UFC in its early years by holding events at buildings that he owned. But, you know, I, along with many other people, I feel, want sports to get away from politics, not to be reminded of them constantly. So I'm really
that was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Okay, this is your final lap. Final lap of the race.
Because they'll also be racing in Miami, as the UFC took place in Miami last night. All right, one more lap to go. Oh, a bit of a bump there. Might have porpoised just a tad. That one corner. But we're doing well. Whoa, it's 20-second gap.
Fantastic drive, that's just fantastic. Amazing, you deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
Thank you. And driver of the day. Fantastic.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain. And a real champion's drive to take the win.
I mean, it looked like they were in a different category at points during the race, led every lap. I mean, what more can we say?
Welcome then to the podium, our top three drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
I'm glad I earned some rewards points. Thanks, Xbox. Let's take in the champagne. Thank you all for tuning in to part one of this episode of the VIG Lounge. Part two will be up momentarily, which will be some NHL action as the Penguins welcome the Bruins to PPG Paints Arena. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I always have fun doing the F1 races on the day of the race or the night before, depending on when it airs. But thank you all for tuning in. I have been the Visually Impaired Gamer 1987. And until next time, I bid you adieu. Have a satisfying Sunday, everybody.